All right, I'll let that go ahead and load since we're waiting for everything to get live. And while everybody's skipping through our little advertisement right here, I am running some lineups right now, trying to force in some of the value plays in the bottom, just because I'm curious to see what'll happen. Right now, it's wanting to use a lot of Todd Gilliland, and I don't hate that. I'm concerned that all optimizers are going to try and force Todd Gilliland in. That's my main concern right now. I'll let you guys kind of hop in, ask some questions and everything. I'm trying to see if I need to change anything before I start here. I haven't finished making my lines yet. I'm not sure how many I'm going to run. My peak interests right now, like off the top, I'll round them off. The guys that I am interested in the most, clearly Larson. I like Larson. I like Reddick. I like Bowman. I like Byron. I'm a fan of Hemrick. In terms of lap leaders, you can throw Blaney in there as well. The issue is I don't think the Fords and Penske specifically are showing the speed that I want to see right now. Now, this has traditionally been a Penske track, but like I said, throw all that shit out. It doesn't matter. When you look at how Hendrick is showing up, or at least the Chevys are showing up right off the bat. And I mean, granted, this is a one race sample size. We haven't really seen much outside of what we saw at Auto Club. But I'm a fan of Larson. The guy basically had no practice and still whooped everybody's butt at Auto Club. Suarez, do we see Suarez coming back up through the field late in the race? I don't believe we're going to have long green flag runs in this race. I think we're going to have good plays get taken out, even in a spin. You do have to remember that it's no longer, you can have a guy spin and come back. Now, if you blow the tires, it's done. You're absolutely screwed. You're multiple laps down, and that lineup is basically done. And so, looking at last week, I do lean more towards playing guys that showed that they're not going to be stupid and wreck. Because if you can survive at Auto Club, you're going to do just fine here at Vegas. Vegas is getting more difficult. They did grind down those bumps in turns 1 and 2, but I don't think it really made I don't think it made much of a difference. Turn 4 is going to be extremely tight, and we saw yesterday, if they make it through turns 1 and 2 fine, they still got to deal with turns 3 and 4. And I want to play the guys that are going to be starting in the first 2 rows on the restarts. If we can project that, we can get an idea of who's going to be a main contender for the fast laps and laps led. And like I said, that's me going to Larson. I think Bell is too trimmed out. I do have Bell to lead laps, just like yesterday. I had AJ Allmendinger projected lead laps as well, but I think they're trimmed out. When we talk about Kyle Busch, and I'll start going through the chat in a minute, when we talk about Kyle Busch, that car is either going to run 7th or it's going to run 21st today. There is no in between. They have the entire Joe Gibbs Racing team building that car from the ground up. It was not meant to be a race car. It was meant to be a parts car, but this is the situation we're in. Now, the reason I'm saying that is, and the reason I'm giving him that big of a range, is because every team touched that car from Joe Gibbs. And you know for a fact every crew chief had an idea of what they wanted to bring, because Joe Gibbs brought everybody in, said, what are you guys doing? What do you want to do with this car? What can we change? It was all hands on deck. And if anything, I believe that hurts Christopher Bell. I believe that hurts Denny Hamlin. I believe that hurts Martin Truex Jr., because instead of wasting time and making their car, not wasting time, but using time to get their car set up tomorrow, which they have an idea, but instead of really putting in time and set up into their own cars, everybody was focused on Kyle Busch. It was literally all hands on deck. And so that's my view on Kyle Busch right now. I currently have him for 64.9 points right now. I think that's giving him about a 9th, 10th place finish. That's where I'm at. I have no idea what the car is actually going to do. I have no worry that Kyle Busch understands the track. It's just whatever the car has set up. So I fully imagine we'll go green. 30 laps into the race, we'll know right off the bat of what this car is going to do. That line will either be alive or dead pretty much on arrival. So let's go ahead here. And, I don't know if Kyle Busch is going to be chalk, man. I really don't. I should probably need to have DraftKings pulled up so I can build lines and see how builds are going to break down. I haven't, like I said, I haven't entered any lines. I've been messing around with the optimizer last night and yesterday. Here, let's join that anyway. Let's see. Chastain, Jones, Almirola. Let's see. I have to refer. I like Jones a lot. So this is what I mean. So Jones was the best car last week. Eric Jones, that is. As if there's any other Jones in the race. That is fantastic to see. And certainly him starting 23rd, I do believe they're most likely running the same car. I'm not saying the speed from Auto Club transfers directly to Vegas, but I do like Eric Jones. I'm trusting that that's at least going to bump Ty Dillon up to at least getting 31 points as well. Not as interested in Ty Dillon, but they are from the same team. Eric Jones is actually showing why he deserves to be in the Cup Series, and consistently pit road didn't lose positions on pit road last weekend. That's good to see, despite the fact that we're seeing so many guys flip flop on pit road. Didn't lose speed at all. Basically ran second and third all day. That's fantastic to see. And if we're leaning towards jumping on Reddick after seeing him basically have the best car this year so far, I talked about it a bit in my video, and I was not going to really defer anything to LA, and I'm still not. But it is worth noting Tyler Reddick had the best car at the LA Coliseum. He would have won that race. He absolutely pulled away from the field. They then go to a 2-mile racetrack, and they have the best car. And so if we're running on that type of small sample size, then we really do need to consider Eric Jones. And I really like pricing this week. I really do. Let's just say we're throwing in Larson, just in it there. We're building a lineup of 5 guys. 77-40 left to build the rest of the field is pretty nice because I like the 5K range. And as I said when I started this, I'm running lines right now with the 4K guys trying to be forced in because I want to see what it does. But I really like LaJoy. I trust LaJoy more than Gillen, but Gillen does offer a $100 discount, which I don't hate. I really like Hemrick, and I really like Yaley. So Yaley, Hemrick, and LaJoy seem to be the guys that I'm going to end up focusing around. And when I do that, I can build whatever freaking line I want to do. And if you decide to start going more like balanced to where if you use Jones in that, you're perfectly fine. With laps led being spread out as much as I think they will be, and if it's not spread out, I do believe that it's Larson who's leading this race. It leans to playing guys and having more confidence in guys that did show speed last week and even show speed in practice. Like Eric Jones was 13th fastest on the board in practice, just qualified bad. I don't hate Eric Jones at all. And see, I'm wearing this for Pearce, man. I bought a stupid shirt, and following our successful week in certainly the duels, and I got this Monday last week, but yeah. So I don't have any of the punts projected for under 16 points. I have Cody Ware for 16. I have Balicki for 19. I have BJ for 20. I have Smithley for 21. I don't hate that. It just depends on how the race goes. I think we can easily start projecting all these gentlemen to start finishing top 30s. I think that's easy to project now. It's no longer these guys are going to finish where they start. We're going to have issues. We're going to have guys getting sideways. We're going to have guys going multiple laps down. It's easier to project all the guys in the 4K range to at least get a top 30 finish. I do want to bring that. What is it doing now if I force these guys in? It's still not. Let's just see where these guys are here. Let's see if I want to see if it uses any of these guys in the higher scoring lineups here. It is. It's using them, but it's not having them in any high scoring lineups right now. So that would probably be more towards Rex and everything. Yeah, Ty Dillon. I mean, we're gonna have bad plays work. Last week, and yet again, this isn't me covering myself because they were low on plays, and the guys that played them were really successful. But last week, Suarez and Dillon, guys that really nobody talked about, I didn't look at. a lot of people didn't look at. Bad plays on paper came through. And I think it's going to be the same situation here, to where guys that, like, for example, like Chris Buescher or Cole Custer again, look fine. I like Eric Almirola. I think he's a good play as well. I'm trying to open the pool up to be more open to playing guys like that, especially with this race possibly getting crazy towards the end. And yeah, I don't know. People are scared of Kyle for coming in. I think, even like, if you played Larson and Kyle Busch together, that's $7,100. You can still easily get up to people like Bowman, people like Harvick, even Reddick in your lines, even people like Byron. You just play value plays, and it's still very easy to make a line that's good. And so maybe it is chalk. I'll certainly have one or two lines with Kyle Larson and Kyle Busch together, but outside of that, I'm not going to overthink Kyle Busch too much. I'll play him probably in two lines. I think I'm going to do 6 lines today. Maybe more, maybe less, but either way, that's probably where I stand on Kyle Busch. Yeah, Pearce isn't here today. I'm going to respect his wishes that he wants to just keep messing in the sheet right now, which you can look at. If you still want to support me and support him, go to BrandonCruzDFS on Patreon. Link is in the description. I left Pearce's links in the description as well if you want to go through those. I'm so thankful for the support, the people, everybody tuning in and watching us. In terms of hogs, I'm going to go 100% Larson today. So I guess by default that means like a 3 dominator lineup for me, because I'm going to have Larson in every single line. And then I'm going to try and focus in on playing Byron, Reddick, Bowman, maybe some Blaney, but I'm not very confident in these guys. Like, I think Bell is too trimmed out, despite the fact that he had times in both the 10 lap and 5 lap in the top 5. I think Larson has the better car. I don't see Cindric doing much. Briscoe is probably going to maintain the top 10 running position all day. Chase Elliott is interesting, but that's hard to get to. Larson and Elliott together will certainly be low owned. I don't know if I'm going to get to Elliott. I'd much rather get to his teammates Bowman and Byron. I like Reddick. Logano looks good for running position wise, like running inside the top 5 all day. I don't know if he's going to have that oomph to get him to the front. I think Blaney's going to be chalk, honestly. It's really looking like Blaney's going to be chalk. But I'll take the discount on Bowman and Byron. If everybody's going to go to Blaney, which just in my brain, I think people are going to play a lot of Blaney today, and that's not me fading him because of chalk, but I think Larson runs away with this race, and that hinders what Blaney can do, in my true opinion. That's where I'm at right now. I'll probably put Blaney in line with Larson, but I'm hesitant to believe in Blaney a ton. That's where I'm at right now. And yeah, for sure, most lines are going to have. I'll throw Gillen in there as well. I wasn't too confident on him last night, but I'm opening up the pool a little bit. So every lineup is probably going to have 2 of these 4 drivers for me, and that's Haley, Hemrick, LaJoy, and Gillen. I think that's pretty safe. I'll probably build a line that does dip into the 4K range. I think it's going to be Cody Ware. If I do go down, it's going to be all the way down to Cody Ware. Cody has been showing speed. I'm actually very happy with what he's been doing here this year so far, despite the fact that he's still getting laughed. But he's the new Quinn Houff, man. They're going to keep giving him 4,500. Where I think he should probably be more expensive. BJ McLeod is bringing a different sponsor in. It's probably still the same car. Don't really see him doing much, but it is interesting seeing more money going to BJ McLeod. Top hog off of Larson. That's Reddick for me. It would go Larson, Reddick. That's based on my projections. Larson, Reddick, Bowman, and then it's tied. It's pretty much tied after that between Elliott, Logano, Blaney, and Byron. But it's Larson and Reddick for me right now. Yeah, that's where I'm at. I don't drink Keystones, man. That's why this whole the shirt is very comfortable. It looks nice, and if I lose power, it's because it's raining right now. So but it shows up really nice on camera. It's very very comfortable. But as we talked weeks and weeks, I have never even had a Keystone. I'm just here because the shirt was cheap. Now, see, is Byron going to be owned? Because like Larson should always be the highest owned driver. I don't know why the hell he was so low owned last week. I'm sure people will flip over and play Larson here, but Larson should be the highest owned. And then I think it goes Blaney, Kyle Busch, and Byron. I think it goes in that order for those guys. Let's see. Yeah, very, very much so. But at least he knows where the bumps are on the track. Thank God he ran the truck race. That's all I'm happy for. I think Haley's the top 20 car. I really do. I like Colleague a lot. It seems to me like Justin Haley should be high owned because he's very easy to fit in the lines. $6,100 is just far too cheap for me, and that's mainly the reason why I was hesitant to talk about Gilliland because I liked Haley so much. Colleague is killing it, and I think it just happened. It just so happens that they're running Chevys, the fast teams right now. But I truly believe that this did leave even the playing field out tremendously, especially with all the parts shortages. No team is really able to dominate here, or not dominate, but like dominate the research stuff. Joe Gibbs is a great example. You cannot expand your resources and domination if you're having to build cars at the racetrack in 8 hours. I really like Colleague. And if it ends up with a Chevy stack, then so be it. I'm not going out of my way to play Chevys or manufacturers. If it happens, it happens. It's just more of a coincidence than anything. And see, so like there are no scrubs in this race. The scrubs are Balicki, Smithley, McLeod, and Ware. Gillen has upside of top 20. LaJoy has an upside of 19th. Ty Dillon has an upside of 12 place differential points. Hemrick is going to be running inside the top 20 all day. Haley is going to be working his way into the top 20 all day. And so even the battles that are happening between 27th and 19th, a lot of those guys are going to keep on flip-flopping and switching. If anything, the guys that I'm concerned about staying there are Wallace and Kurt Busch because they didn't show the amount of speed that I wanted to. They're not. Now, for those of you that don't know, all the Toyotas last week ran a screen in front of the radiator in anticipation of all the dust and dirt and debris that was going to be kicked up from the racetrack. That ended up just collecting sand, so it had to be blown out every time on the pit stop, and so that's why they were all so slow last week. And I'm not bringing that into here. I just think that 2311 isn't bringing the speed that is worth the price tags that the cars are on. What's his name? Dave Wilson from TRD, whoever the head at TRD is, he was basically saying that he didn't see them being in contention for the win anyway. But he did estimate that them overheating so much did cost them around 10 horsepower last weekend. So keep that in mind when you do look at lap by lap data and speeds of last weekend. Just keep that in mind. However, I still don't think they would have been a factor there. Not sure if that answers your stars and scrubs lineup, but every lineup is, and that's usually how it is. That's how NASCAR used to be, pre-COVID salaries. If you would normally have two guys either in the 5K, or you would have three drivers that would have a salary between 5,000 and 7,000. That's usually how it always went through. Like, see, man, like, I like whiskey. I like sipping on whiskey, or like Guinness, Dragon's milk. If you've ever had that, I like sweeter beers. I'm not up for drinking just any old beer. Oddly enough, I did touch on Kurt Busch there. I'm not very high on Kurt Busch. I do have him projected today for where you at? Where you at? The Outlaw. The Outlaw, Kurt Busch. Remember when he was called the Outlaw, and then he had to abandon it when his we had to beat up his girlfriend. I got Kurt Busch for 42 points today. Yeah. Everywhere saying Byron all week from what I've said was my favorite outside of Larson. I don't know if it don't honestly like. I mean, we talked about ownership. Just play the guys that project well. I'm embracing that more and more this year. I'm just playing guys that I like. You know, Byron projects out good for me. Bowen projects out good for me. Larson projects out good for me. For a punt, let's see. What is good old Brubba doing? Fuck no. He's 6,300. What the hell are we doing? Calling him a punt play? I'd much rather play Hemrick. I'd much rather play LaJoy. I'd much rather play Gillen over Bubba Wallace. And hell, if you're dead set on playing somebody in the 6K range, Custer or Briscoe, or not Briscoe, Custer and Busher is where I'd go there. Ooh, we got a FanDuel question. Let me see. What does Pearce have? Because Pearce does project for FanDuel. I am playing FanDuel today as well. I'll probably have Harvick and a lot of lines just because place differential means so much on FanDuel here. I'm gonna assume that he is chalky because Larson can easily score probably 85 points. Not Larson, my bad. Kyle Busch can easily score probably 85 points on FanDuel. I think we're going to see Harvick around probably 78 by the end of the day, somewhere around there. And so, if anything, it's difficult to me to see a situation where Harvick and Kyle Busch aren't in the optimal lineup on FanDuel today. That's where we're at. Yeah, FanDuel is always easy to make lineups, Eagles, which is usually why I usually do FanDuel last. Like I usually do FanDuel about an hour last to log. I reserve my lineups. Don't look at it the whole week and then do the FanDuel lineups after I've already done everything else. In the lower 7K range, let's see. Yeah, how much Jones is too much? Well, you're talking to a madman here. When I like guys, and I got Jones is probably one of the. Let me sort this by value. Hold on, real quick. Off the top of my head, I'm going to assume Jones is a top 6 value today. Let me look. Short this by value. And that is correct. Yeah, I have Jones as my 6th best value play today. I'm probably stupid high on Jones in terms of projections, but that's me leaning and trusting that he's going to work his way, at least contending for a top 12 today. But I got him for 47 points. No, I'm not playing Biffle. He is one of about 4 guys that I would straight up not play. Like I did not include them in the optimizer at all. And those drivers are Cindric, Hamlin, Burton, and Greg Biffle. Those are the 4 guys that I actively went in, not even considering playing today, like in the optimizer or anything at all. Like, see, I'm just I'm not concerned with which you should be playing Stenhouse anyway. Showed speed last week. I know I haven't talked about him, but play. I hate to say it, but play the guys who are going to be wheelmen in this race. Right now, I can see Stenhouse easily getting over 5x today. I have him for. Yeah, I got Stenhouse competing for a top 7 today. And even if he doesn't, like, let's just knock him back. He finishes 9th. That's still value. That's 37 points. Actually, no, because I'm giving him. He finishes 9th. That's 35 points, man. That's perfectly fine. That's nearly 5x. You give him one more position, that's going to put him right at 37. It's so easy for Stenhouse to hit value here, and that's mainly why I like a lot of the 7K range and why I'm contemplating feeling okay to play 100% Larson and then play people like Byron, Bowman, Reddick, and some of the guys in the 7K range, because I don't necessarily think that outside of Kyle Busch in the 10K range, who really gets there unless they walk away. And I could just act. This is where I do wish Pearce was here because he would talk me probably into more people. But I have tunnel vision so bad some weeks that I think it's Larson killing this field. So that limits the upside. That limits Elliott. He can only get fast laps. That really limits Logano. That really limits Blaney. And if Kyle Busch struggles and those other guys in the 10K range don't get fast laps or laps led, well, then it will default to a lineup that consists of Larson and then 9K drivers, which is the build that I'm kind of wanting to go with. That's where I'm at right now. I need to actually write that down because I really do like the idea of going Larson and 9K guys. Especially with, like, there's no guaranteed pit stops right now. We're still going to have guys that are consistent on pit road, but these teams are still getting used to these. And so we don't have that one team that just dominating all day in terms of getting off pit road quick. We're going to see laps led flip-flop, even, and that's saying if Larson doesn't run away with it, to where I'm trying to project guys who are going to get fast laps in the pack, and that's Reddick, that's Bowman, that's Byron. You can argue Blaney there as well. So, like, if you're taking that narrative, then you would want to do Blaney and Larson together. And then it's so easy for Kyle Busch if he doesn't even have to show up for the win. Just run 10th at the end of the day with cautions and stuff, and he has a good chance of outscoring at least 4 guys in the 10K range. That's why it's so it's very interesting today. But I really like the 9K range. I really like the 7K. Pricing is so soft in that, and that's how it is. We're just going back to pricing being pretty soft and building really whoever you want. That's why I usually default to my projections in terms of where I want to go, because I do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. I have 24 guys projected to go over 5x today on value. I know for a fact I will be playing that in one of my lines today. Yeah, that's where I know it's hard, man. I know it's hard. But you got to throw everything out. This is brand new. Anything in the past doesn't matter. When we look at track history, doesn't matter. It don't mean anything. Doesn't mean a darn thing. And even if you want to go and dive into Jones, spring race 2019, 13th. Fall race 2019, he wrecks out, finishes 36th. Las Vegas, 20 in the spring, finishes 23rd. Las Vegas, 20 in the fall, finishes 8th. Las Vegas last year in the spring, 10th. Las Vegas last year in the fall, 26th. So even if he's sucking at this track in general, like if it just does not vibe with him, 15th is going to be just fine. I am not too concerned about Jones. I'm leaning to him feeling comfortable in this car. That's why I'm projecting him to be on the fringe of a top 10 today. Let's see. Yeah, I like Bowman a lot. I really do. I like Bowman quite a lot. Part of me is I feel like I got to play a line with Elliott in it. Something just about Elliott today, and I hate it. I hate it so much. I never believe in Elliott. Elliott always comes through on the races that I don't even acknowledge his existence. But man, looking at his practice speeds, he's going to run top 10 today. He's probably going to run 6th to 4th. Does he get that lead on pit road? That's how he's going to get it done. Man, it's tough, man. It's tough. And thank you for Eagles for telling people to do that. I do appreciate it, so I don't have to. I don't believe that. There's no way in hell. There's no way he's third. Which he could be, man. Ownership has just been absolutely acoustic this year. It's been so weird. People have no clue what they're doing. Oh man, I was so mad last week, man. I was so mad. I can't believe Byron ran to Reddick when he blew the tire. I can't believe that. Last week was so fun. Then he got stupid. But I haven't understood ownership at all this year. From the plate races to LA to last week and all the series. I don't understand ownership, so I'm just throwing that stuff out of the way. I don't understand ownership in terms of people, why they own people so much or why they don't own people enough. Yeah, I mean that's my main point. If Larson does walk away and they give Busch a somewhat competent car that finishes 10th, he can outscore a lot of the 10K guys. In the same thing, I don't see Kurt Busch, man. Why is Kurt Busch so loved? What is going on today? Where the heck is he starting at? I'll tell you everything I'm giving Kurt Busch today. Kurt Busch starting 31st. I'm giving him 16 place differential points. That is roughly around 17th place finish. That's 42 points. Man. That's rough. I just 23-11, and Kurt's going to get a lot out of that car, just like he did at Ganassi. But he needs to get that car under his belt and just get familiar with it. And there's just way more guys that I'd rather play. And I know the builds that I'm working with are not getting to Kurt Busch because he's $8,000. I'd rather play Harvick. To be frank, I'd much rather play Harvick than Kurt Busch here. Is Buescher chalk too? I don't understand. Like what does my optimizer want to do? So like right now it is not showing Buescher's chalk. But I'm not getting to, like, if I'm playing Buescher and Custer, I'm assuming they're lower owned because lineups just don't land on them. You have to go out of your way to play Buescher. You have to go out of your way to build a lineup around Cole Custer. I love the 5K range. I love Haley. I love Hemrick. I love LaJoy, even Todd Gillen. And so for me to assume that Buescher's going to be chalk in the 6K range, I'm not sure about that. Then again, I'm an idiot, so I don't know. I have a lot of respect for Jordan. Jordan is a very, very smart man. I'm assuming Nick was on that episode as well. Like I said, I'm throwing everything out from the previous years. That's just how I'm approaching this. I'm looking at this year, and I'm not saying go 50% on Jones, but I'm going to have him in 2 lines. I'm playing probably 5 or 6 lines. Maybe if I go to 10, maybe play 3 with Jones in it. That's not crazy. That'll probably be with the field. But everything's so open. The main takeaway is that Jones didn't run into an issue last weekend. The entire field kept fumbling and doing stupid stuff, and his team did not let him down. That car didn't let him down. That's the reason I like it. When we're going into this year now to where you want to play guys that are either going to be up front racing to get the lead or not wrecking, I think Jones really does fall into that category because we're going to have guys spin out. We're going to have a wreck out of turn 4. We're going to have a wreck at turn 1 on a restart most likely, and we're going to have guys spin off at turn 2 at points. And if you do that, you are done for the day because it takes 5 laps to get you back to pit road. Yeah, which is why I barely touched on that. Let's see. Why are you asking me this question, dude? Why are you asking me this question? I'm going to answer it. I'm in a very, very nice mood today, but you can very easily find out this yourself if you just go to FanDuel and then look at the rules and scoring. So we're gonna explain real quick why FanDuel and place differential is high or so important there. Laps completed, 0.1 points. Laps led, 0.1 points. Place differential, 0.5 points. So you still need, it's still important to find a guy who's going to get laps led. I think Larson does have a good, which this is an interesting slate with Harvick offering so much in terms of points on FanDuel. Busch, Kurt Busch, there is a chance that Larson would need to kill this race to be optimal on FanDuel, I do believe. So just because there's so much place differential in this race, and if Larson or if one guy can't run away with it, then it might default to place differential or somebody like that. I would be way more interested in Blaney on FanDuel than I would be on DraftKings. Because, and that's not saying I'm probably not going to play Blaney either, but Larson has to lead a ton of laps to maintain being a high score on FanDuel, whereas Blaney can pass, he's going from 11th. He can lead some laps and finish like second or third and beat out Larson, even if Larson has a really good day. But yeah, so I'm going to trust that you can figure it out on your own, John. Keselowski did not like the car. Thank God. If you have the fancy NASCAR spreadsheet that we offer, find Kez. He does have some notes. I'm gonna steal the notes from let's see. I gotta find. I just saw it earlier. Where is it? So I'm pretty. I know Kez did not like the car. He didn't like how it felt. And like something about it. Just he wasn't. Keselowski didn't like the car. That's why he was so slow. Like they just have work to do, which they made up for in qualifying trim. And see that points to me not really believing in Keselowski a lot. Not that he's going to run 28 today in the race, but is he going to finish around 10th? Probably. Is he going to have that speed? Like if you don't, this is where practice is important, because if you arrive to the track and practice right off the bat, you're 28th fastest. And you have to make wholesale changes at that point. You cannot make small changes to feel like you're going to gain a lot. You have to change massive things to gain that much speed. So they trim it out for qualify 15th. In the race, what are they going to be able to do to get that to be a top 5 car? They got to do a lot. And they're going to need a lot of feedback, a lot of laps on that car. So if Keselowski, and this is me just random, this isn't me offering any fantasy advice whatsoever, but this is going to be a long day for Keselowski. And if he ends up running 6th late in the race, and specifically if it goes green, they're doing a lot to that car. I think we get a ton. I think we probably end on a green white checker tonight in Vegas. So keep that in mind. I truly believe we're gonna end on a green white checker tonight in Vegas. So we're gonna have guys that just ran 20th all day, finishing 13th. That's just how it's gonna be. That's why the pool is so open here. What wreck, Tom. And I'm getting better at not. I was pulling the ownership. Fuck, man, I was first last week. I was first, bounced between first and fifth in the 15 for about an hour and a half last week. Up until Reddick blew the tire. He blew a tire, and then it just all went bad. But let's see. I think it's Gillen. I know it's not very fun, but you can do so much with Gillen. I'm getting more and more trying to get into Gillen the line, and I fully believe he's going to wreck. But if everybody has a pretty high chance of being involved in something stupid, and then makes you feel better. That's probably right, be it. Yeah, people. I mean, people don't know how to adjust to DFS post COVID. I know it's been 2 years, but we're just back to what we used to do week in and week out. So yeah, and on top of that, like I said, I truly believe it's nice to have finished or track history for a Cup Series, and I think it'll dictate a lot of chalk, or where people are going to go. But outside of that, I'm not looking at anything from previous years. This is a whole new car, whole new dimension of racing. It all depends on what you're trying to get out of it, man. And sometimes we'll use yesterday for an example. I like Gregson. I had the fastest car. I liked Gibbs, had the fastest car. And I was specifically looking at those 2 in 5-lap runs because I figured the race would be a short distance race, really, to where we wouldn't have a lot of long run speed. Said the same thing about John Hunter Nemechek. Nemechek disappointed. He did not have the speed that I just thought he would in the race. And so here I'm looking specifically at the long runs, like for 10-lap averages right now, for these guys. And you need to remember that I think only 22 guys did a 10-lap run. So you can defer that. So if you start looking at 10-lap runs, you can either compare, you can find out who you like from that, and then you can either compare where those guys stack up against each other in terms of 15-lap runs, because typically those guys will be racing against each other. Or you can go back to 5-lap runs and see what gains they make from 5-lap to 10-lap runs. Long story short, it makes me like Byron. It makes me like Bowman. Due to that, it would make me like Blaney. And like I said, I probably need to play Blaney at least a line because Blaney looks good there. Larson is fine. He's clearly the best car on everything, basically. And that makes me concerned about Bell because Bell was fast by himself. They trimmed it out even more for qualifying. And I don't know how well Bell's going to do in traffic today. That's my main concern there. Long-winded thing, and I guess really good breaking down this answer would probably be like a 20-minute ordeal. But that's the what is it? The spark notes of it, the little pinpoints of what I look at. And thank you for everybody tuning in on a Sunday morning. 9:30 my time. I think it's 10:30 Eastern. If you're in Vegas, you probably aren't even up yet. So I do appreciate you guys tuning in. 116, 115 people being here. I'm very happy. I assume it's the 4 you're playing. If you're playing 20 and you really want to fade them, I've learned if I'm playing that many lines and I want to fade somebody, throw them in 1 or 2 lines. I'd probably play Kyle in 5 lines there. Who's projected to do? Okay, well we can kind of look. I mean, all this is based off of our little doohickey, which you can get through Patreon. It's a nice little mass entry tool, and it'll show you ownerships and stuff. It's always based on whatever projections you have, but like see, this is based on my projections. So based on my projections, it would be Stenhouse being the highest owned driver in the 7K range. I see, like, there's no way that's gonna be accurate because I'm higher on Stenhouse. It'll probably be, I don't know, probably between Jones and Chastain there. Yeah, he was, and That's just how the race is going to go. Like I believe we're going to get stupid. It's just like Auto Club last week, man. We are pushing and Truck Series, the worst the series has ever been. We're going to break all records in terms of cautions for the Truck Series. Same thing with Xfinity. These guys suck. These guys are terrible. Cup Series, we have not had a car where it's so dependent on talent and you can self-spin at any time since probably the COT era, which we're slowly getting back then. We're slowly getting back to the Gen 4. So thank God we're there. But we're seeing an uptick in cautions, and it's going to remain that way going forward. Maybe not at an extent of 30 cautions a race, but we're going to have guys self-spinning on long runs. So we're going to have restarts here and there. So that just leans more towards chaos, and that's why going into this year, Cody Ware, Balecki, BJ, and Smithley, I will always project them for a top 30 finish because there's always a chance that we're going to at least have probably 7 DNFs in every race this year. And this just so happens to have a 37 car field. And so that would default those guys to finishes in the 20s. That's just how it's going to go. That's just, hey man, maybe they're bad. I get people saying that I helped them win money. I get you saying that they're bad. It can go back and forth. I'm just offering what I do here. I can't be any more transparent than that. Yeah. Let's see. And yeah, I mean, I don't because I really don't like DFS Twitter for this reason. If you want to talk about the biggest one I've had, that was the Auto Club race before this one, where we tied for first with quite a lot of people. Played a chalky line there. If you want to talk about this year, I took down several of the smaller. I think I took down a $4 single entry, and then a 3 at a 4 for the second duel this year, and then I did well for Daytona. On top of that, I'm just happy I can pay rent through the Patreon alone, and so that's my takeaway, which is why I'm so happy to just be here. But yeah, we get there, man. The goal and just DFS is to either win enough to where you don't have to redeposit, or have a good win to where you don't have to worry about rent for like 3 months. That's why I'm here. I'm not taking down millionaire makers. Haven't done that. Not trying to do that. Right now I got Hamlin projected for 4th place. I got him. Right now I got him for 46.6 points. He's certainly down a list of guys that I want to go towards. Let's see. Yeah. I wish they would just embrace saying, "Oh, this is like COT. Oh, this is like the Gen 4." I don't know why we have to keep using these metaphors and analogies. Just say these guys have to race. Yeah, I would say Ty is I'm more inclined to play Ty Dillon on FanDuel there. Sadly, which is why I got him for 55.55 points today. I like Bowman. I like Byron more. Let's see. I don't think Jones is going to run for second today. I don't see him running that well. It's that his price is too cheap. Jones is too cheap based on what he is. Like last week, he scored 55 points. That's not going to happen. However, what you want to look at is the amount of fast laps and not even laps led, but fast laps that you saw. 23 is really, really impressive. We did not see that coming. If you can give him, I think, probably 3 or 4 fast laps in this race, give him a top 15 finish, it's not looking that bad. Like that, I don't think that's recency bias at all. No, Blaney's pit crew was slow because they had another issue with getting tires on and off. Same thing that happened to William Byron when they couldn't get the left front lug nut off on one of the pit stops. Blaney kept having just issues getting the wheels on and off. That's really what slowed him down. And I could actually, I'll bring that up. Which if you ever want to check, if you're ever curious, we do have the pit data as well, so I can look right quick and see where Blaney was last week, just because I'm here and I like talking about stuff. Let's find the pit data for this year real quick and see where Blaney was on average stops. Let's see. And while that loads, I'll look at other stuff. So where are we at here? Look at Blaney's pit stops. If the OGs remember when we spent all day looking at the freaking first pit road here and why it's a disadvantage or why it isn't a disadvantage. So let's keep that in mind. Let's see here. Ryan Blaney has an 11-1. Let me see. Is that his fastest one? This is in terms of, actually, I'll just say his average. So Blaney had an average on pit road last week of 13.6. That's, what is that? Once we get to his pit stops, he had one that was 12.4, one that was 12.5, one that was 12.5, one that was 12.8, one that was 13.1, one that was 13.5. He had a 14.9. He had a 14. This is just going over all the. I mean, you get the gist of where he was at. But you can look at all this stuff. You can look at when he took tires, when he didn't take tires, when he took 2 tires, what they did on the car. You can look through all that as well. So you can also get that by supporting us on Patreon. We offer a lot of stuff. Like a lot of the questions, can be answered. Or if you want to dive into data all day, you certainly can. Yeah, I'm throwing everything out there, man. I'm throwing it all for the Cup Series. I'm not looking at any previous data at all. That's just where I'm at. I love the chat, man. Let's see here. Yeah, no problem. No problem, dude. I like to be here. I wish Pearce would have joined us today, but I'm not gonna pound the guy for or like hammer the guy for showing up. Like if he wants to, I'm gonna respect him, man. If he wants to stay working in the sheets and just deal with that stuff today, I'm not gonna be like, why aren't you here? I'm gonna respect Pearce's wishes there. Let's see. Yeah, and this is it's usually easier because nobody else is live right now. I get to have the replay views as well. I do like the morning show, and then I get it out of the way, and then I don't have to worry about anything. Yeah, no shit, man. Like I play GPPs, and I play to try and win first, or I embrace like not chaos to an extent, but I take a lot of stands and stuff. And I get a lot of feedback saying that I help people win money. And if anything, I'm happier than that. I'm just happy with that. Like I said, I'm able to pay all my bills and save just through Patreon alone. Any wins that I had, like in speed weeks at Daytona, I can just use that to save. I'm very happy where I am in life right now. And so if I can offer things like that, I'm just happy there. I also don't want to be in a bubble as well, and I do appreciate this, Doug, but I don't want to be in a bubble. Like if people do have issues or criticisms or stuff, I do want to hear that. That's why I don't block anybody on Twitter. That's why I don't block comments on YouTube. If any comments are not visible on YouTube, that's YouTube doing that, because I do see it every now and then. It's like it'll show a video with 4 comments and 2 will show up. It's because YouTube is just not letting those other ones go through. Even if I allow it to, uh, it it doesn't do that. So I don't block anyone. I'm not very much into censoring stuff. So I mean, if you do have criticism and stuff, let them out. I'll defend or at least give my opinion on stuff. Let's see. Yeah, I think this is. I don't like telling people to not watch. I think that's not even with my. I think that's a very bad business decision to be like, if you don't like it, don't buy. If you don't like it, don't watch. Everybody already knows that. I'm not gonna say that. You know, I implore if people don't like it, they can watch my stuff compared to other people, and then like over the years or over a season or whatever, find what content creator you do like. And NASCAR, this is fucking wild. This year is nuts in terms, because anybody can wreck. It's insane. We're gonna have so many yellows, you can't. No line is safe up until that checker flag comes out. That's just how this race is gonna be. Like last week, I looked like a genius. I can be like, oh, I was winning $70,000 for an hour and a half. I can take that stand, or I can take, hey, I think I end up losing 150 last week. Or whatever it was. I forgot how many lines I had cash. It was not good, certainly, because I had so much. I had so much interest in Reddick. I'd be worried about that line. That has a lot of ifs, ands, or buts in it. Yeah, I like Haley. I like Hemrick. It's in the same. What is this? I'm trying to go back and see. I don't remember. All right, sorry. Man, like I said, Austin Dillon last week didn't pop off for me, and I missed it. You can argue last week, oh, you should have played Austin Dillon. Well, there's not a lot shown to play Austin Dillon. Starting 10th today. I'm projecting him with 46.25 points today. That's 5.7x. I mean, that's where I'm at. I'd much rather just tell you what my projection is versus if I'm going to play him or not, because I kind of know the builds I'm going to do, and it's not getting to Dillon again, because he's $8,000. I'm going to be going up to Bowman and Byron. I'm going to be going down to people like Stenhouse if I'm in that. Yeah, colleague is for real. I mean, everybody showed up. If anything, they're one of the most consistent teams with this new car. Possibly. I'm going to be building lineups like that. But a lot of those lines are still, like, if you consider Bowman and Byron PD, sure, but I think they're also contenders for fast laps and stuff. Let's see. And I don't think I said anything mean. I wasn't like, go F yourself or anything. I didn't tell you to go grab a noose and jump off a building. Like I'm a pretty chillax dude. I don't really trash talk or talk shit to a lot of people, So I'm glad that you still love watching everything. Let's see. That's funny. Third and long. Let's see. No, I think Larson wins. Yeah, I think Larson wins, and like I said, play these ownerships, and at this point we're like an hour into the show, so we can just kind of start talking, because I've kind of talked about the guys I do like. If you have the projections, you know and if you're running stuff either in like SaberSim or Fantasy Cruncher, you can see the types of builds that I'm curious in playing. But this is what I mean. Like, ownership makes no sense whatsoever this year. I'm baffled that Hamlin was that high owned at a plate race. I can't believe it. Let me see. Yeah, trucks, man. That was I don't know what I mean. These drivers are a bunch of idiots. Eckes wrecked himself. I can't even be mad, man. Can't even be mad. I have John Hearn. I played Eckes in the single entry line, and I was like, okay, cool. Eckes, just don't wreck, man. Let Kyle win the race. You know, you've led laps. Just do your thing. And he walls himself. What are we doing here, man? Probably my two must plays. Be Larson for sure. I'm assuming that he scores well. I hate this. Now, this is like the last 2 days I played single entries. This is a slate that I do not like the idea of playing single entries. I hate to say it, man. I really do hate to say it. But for me, it's either Bowman or Kyle Busch for like must plays in single entry. Right. Right. That's how these win lineups are going, man. Let's see. Yeah, man, it's just he's not showing what I wanted. He's not showing me stuff to jump off the track, man. Even like stupid things. He's not in the auto owner's car. He's not showing speed like off the trailer. And in terms of, and this is what I meant when I look at practice data in terms of 10 lap runs and 5 lap runs, you need to compare apples to apples in there. So you need to directly compare the guys who are going to be competing for this win. Byron, Bowman, Blaney, Truex, Reddick, Larson, and Bell. So that's give or take 9-10 guys there. Where does Truex stack up against that? Truex is the slowest out of all of those guys. And so they either need to make just absolute massive changes to become the fastest car or just win it late in the race. But I don't see Truex driving to fill the first place today. That's where I'm at. Okay, cool. We've been here for an hour. I do appreciate you guys being here. I'm probably going to end it there. If you're part of the Discord, if you're part of supporting us, you can continue to ask me questions throughout the morning. If you have any questions on Twitter, you can still ask those there. I probably get to those later than other things, but outside of that, just thank you guys for tuning in and best of luck today. And I fully expect this race to get stupid at some point. We're gonna have good plays finish bad, and we're gonna have bad plays finish good. That's normally how it always goes. NASCAR is volatile. That's just how it is. So it's all about trying to put yourself in the best position and hoping that things don't go sideways towards the end of it. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see you guys next week.